I'm going to start this video today fully on Substack, substacking it up. And right here is a cute little diagram about how we spend more time worrying about a task. We spend more energy worrying about the task than we actually spend doing the task. And if you add this to what Pavel is saying here from the comment from my post yesterday, I think, Pavel here is saying basically most of the things that are in your backlog are things that you either don't need to do or that you haven't fully thought out. And therefore, you're spending a lot of time worrying about things that you're probably never even going to actually do. And my response to this was basically that a lot of things in our backlog, a lot of our tasks that we put into our to-do list aren't really tasks. They're things that meet a need, but there's many ways to meet that need. And so rather than putting in the task, find a way to meet this need, we are putting in the actual thing. So it'd be like right now, if I put in a task that said, make a pizza, when the task should actually be make dinner. And there's many ways to make dinner. And by the time we get to dinner, everybody will be like, I don't feel like pizza. So what might this look like? Well, so we've got ideas, right? And so ideas have to go somewhere. And if they go into your backlog just as raw ideas, they will clutter everything up because they don't have context, they haven't been fully thought out, and you don't know what to do with them yet. So just on this wall over here, I have this board, which actually extends the length of the wall. There's tons and tons of things up there. But for me, it is my pantry. It is my idea supermarket. And whenever I get any idea for making any video or writing anything or doing anything like that, I put it over there in the right spot in my pantry. And then when I need to go later and get things done, like say I want to write a series about how to use personal Kanban better, I've got 5 or 6 or 10 different ideas there that I can pull from, and it saves an immense amount of time. So the first idea holder here is the idea supermarket. It looks like this. It's like the easiest way that you can look at the work. You want to do this so that you can do the right idea at the right time, and it's not cluttering up again your Kanban. And this is basically where you go to pull those ingredients when it is actually time to make that dinner. The second thing is the notion of kind of idea capture. And this is kind of like the messy napkin. And this is what I do. I tend to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning a lot with big ideas about how to do big things. And then I go back to bed, and then I wake up at 6:30 to go to work, and I don't remember them at all. So what I do is this. So like the other night I was reading Wholehearted by my friend Mike Burrows, which you should probably pick up. And I had in the middle, I was working with a client, and I wrote this, and I can show it to you because I know you're not going to be able to read it. There's no way you can read that because I can barely read it several days later, but it doesn't matter if I can read it or not now. What mattered is the next morning at 6 a.m., I was like, okay, I got to do this because it's enough to jog your memory. Okay, in that case, it was basically how to set up a certain activity that we were doing with a client. And so you need to make sure that you never forget your good ideas. So you have to have some way to capture them. And if you look at how you have good ideas, you're going to find out that you have your 3 a.m. ideas or your shower ideas, or some people have like a grease board actually literally in their showers. All right, and then the third one is to make sure that you're solutioning right. So don't put in fake tasks that are just where they're guesses about how you should provide the value, but not actually the value you should provide. And because I've been doing this lately and people have been have been liking it, you'll see that I do this in the backs of the books and on the wall, but I did make a board that does this just to show people that there is a way to do this. And if you do get into Kanban Zone, you can get our templates, and this will be in the templates. But here we have the pantry. I've just got the pantry. The pantry's got a bunch of ideas in here, and those ideas are just sitting there cooking. And I'll just go ahead and close this off so that they're not in the way. So like right now, I've put these ideas into writing, into new materials, into new classes and improvements. Your catalog categories can be anything you want them to be. but I put them in these categories and I can collapse them. So now I'm just looking at the writing ideas. Now it's time to say, okay, I want to write something else. All right. So what do I want to do? I want to write stuff about VSM. So I'll grab all of the VSM stuff over here and I'll pull these in and say, okay, I've got 5 or 6 of them. I only want to put 3 in. So then I'll select 3. And now all of a sudden those 3 are ready to go. Maybe I want to think about it a little bit more. So then I say, okay, well, I'm going to pull this in and this in. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I'm going to pull this one in. These ones are now ready to become an actual ticket that you can put into the board that says, right, fold in ingredients. Ingredients from the Mixmaster. And then you have your ticket. And then when you do that ticket, then it goes into done. Yay, everything's awesome and it's done. But now what's happened is I've created a place for this stuff for it to live. And then if I'm working and it's just a normal day, let's just say it looks like this. Just note that I've created the pantry in here so that it's a different color. It's not like the dark gray. So I don't forget to look at it. So one of the biggest problems you'll have if you're using an online tool for things like this is if you don't use things like color for these columns, you will forget they're there. All right. So make sure that when you are selecting a tool like this, that it does allow you to have those design elements, because if it doesn't, you will forget to use these extra tools because they're not part of your daily work. They're part of creating new daily work. And when we're overloaded, we just fall into the habit of doing the next task that's yelling the loudest and not actually going back and composing our work. So that's it. So like and subscribe and do all that good social media stuff, but especially comment at the bottom of the post if you have anything at all you want to talk about these things. And please do. Tony and I love doing these things. Please become a paid subscriber. It's just a cup of coffee a month, but it helps us more than you'll ever know. Both for moral support and actually just, to help us keep going. So thank you, and we will see you soon.